with just 8 days to go before the Illinois General Assembly is scheduled to adjourn its spring session, odds are better than they have been in years that lawmakers actually will approve a full budget on time. Gov. Bruce Rauner will sign and everyone can head home for the summer. But don't bet the farm quite yet. Sources in both parties and both chambers, and a source close to Rauner, all tell me the same thing: real progress has been made by negotiators from the 4 caucuses, known as budgeteers. That progress has been affirmed by relatively tranquil if incomplete negotiations between the 4 legislative leaders and Rauner. Insiders say the hole they need to fill is about $2 billion, perhaps a bit more if one side or another asks for extra spending. Some of that will come from an estimated increase in state revenues of about $500 million above prior estimates, with more income from federal sources, too. I'm told that some minor pension reform, such as limited late-in career pay spikes, will help, as will $100 million or more in assumed savings in state worker health insurance that will not be as deep as Rauner has proposed but will be accepted by labor unions. There won't be any new revenue from sports betting or expanded gambling, at least right now, but the latest word is that the budget likely will include the $300 million or so that Rauner has assumed he'll get from selling and redeveloping the site of the Thompson Center, even though Rauner and Mayor Rahm Emanuel still are fighting over terms of such a deal. And of course, the billions from last year's income tax hike already are being received and will be part of any deal. "We are doing absolutely everything we can to give the governor a reasonable budget that he can sign," says one Democratic budgeteer. "I'd makes the odds 60-40 this gets done by the end of the month," says one top Republican. One factor that ironically may be working in favor of a deal is the latest flap over whether House Speaker Mike Madigan is serious about curbing sexual harassment by his associates and whether he retaliated against a House critic. With even many House Democrats not wanting a repeat of the budget standoffs of earlier years, the desire not to be in Springfield and under a harassment microscope only increases the pressure on him to finish up the budget quick. But sources in both parties say they're still not completely convinced that Rauner, running for re-election after last year's budget and tax hike were enacted over his veto, really wants to move on. One source close to him says he does, but laid down some conditions. The budget has to be balanced, more or less, it can't include a lot of new spending, and there must be no new taxes in the plan. Sources close to the matter say there has been discussion of closing a corporate loophole or two to raise additional revenue, but in fairly small chunks. Lawmakers could pass a budget over Rauner's veto, but that would require at least a couple of votes from GOP House members. Earlier, fiscal watchdog panned Rauner's new budget Pritzker breaks with Mike Madigan as